A blank notebook lies open beside a stack of clean papers. It looks like someone intended to write something, but never got started. Right, so... was somebody starting this board before we got here? Did Helen start this? I mean, clearly Helen didn't start this board because she's dead on the floor. Right, okay, what's on this one? That's Rizzo's. These are just shots of the local wildlife and a bunch of audio tapes. Okay. And a workbench. Anything else? Well, the table is set for 2. A spatial acuity sensor apparatus. It's like, whose helmet is this? Early models included a speaker that would emit, "Look at that!" at loud decibels. This feature has been disabled. Thank God. Perception, +1, interchangeable highlighted range. Bonus to extra headshot. Okay, that's fine. That's just a non-important helmet. And we will have the dark matter bar. We do like a bit of dark matter chocolate. Forced worst. Lemon slap. Love a bit of lemon slap. And a cigarette lighter. So there's not too much else around. Right, then I suggest, everybody, we make ourselves at home, as it appears we've already done, and I'm gonna get in touch with our friend Lou.
Inspector, I understand you've visited the scene of the crime.
That I have.
Halcyon Helen was an important cultural icon. She will be sorely missed.
As your spokesperson, no doubt. Yeah, I don't really know why you hired me still, to be fair. I usually cause the murders, I don't really solve them. And let's get this distinction clear. It's Ruth Bellamy. Ruth Bellamy is the actress. Halcyon Helen is just her character.
Halcyon Helen was more than a character. She was a brand. Her death will now be associated with Rizzo's Spectrum Brown. You understand why that worries me.
No. I mean, I understand why it worries you, but I don't understand why it should worry you, because a person has lost their life. I mean, surely you can spin it. You know, you corporations spin everything. Just add, you know, Rhythm Spectrum Brown. It's heart-stoppingly good to the end of it.
Stop. Please warn me before you provide me with unsolicited ideas. There are waivers you need to sign.
Waivers?
Back to the matter at hand.
What, so you don't steal my ideas?
Tell me about your investigation.
Well, I've got a lead, and I can't tell you why, but I need access to the orchards.
Your discretion is appreciated. I admit, I'm beginning to feel more confident in this arrangement. Here, I'm granting you access through the gates to the orchards. You're officially authorized to see this investigation through to the end. There is one caveat. Cedric's being rather intransigent about letting you into the spaceport.
Oh.
Possibly he's trying to hide something. Possibly he wants to annoy me. Possibly both.
Okay. So he locks his doors the moment the investigator arrives. But I'm not gonna spitball things with you. I'll just bear that in mind, and I will go investigate myself.
You have a lead to chase. Law speed, Inspector.
Alright, I will be back. Well, as much as I would love to stay and get comfortable with you all, we've now been officially authorized to continue this investigation, and frankly, even if we weren't, we would. And also, Sam's up here, and I don't want to be up here where Sam is. And this pink blinking screen is awfully distracting. Right, okay then. Well, Felix is coming. Nyoka, I think we should take you away from the bar before you rack up quite a bill. How do I get out? Guys? Have we, any notion how... Oh, there we go. Intercom. Or the call elevator button.
Hi there, Inspector. It might be a little beyond my job description to ask, but at my heart, I'm still a bellhop. Was the suite to your liking?
Well, yeah, yes. I'm not gonna be... Oh, I'm not gonna be nasty and tell them to shut up and do their job. No, well, to be honest, on Halcyon, I didn't even know they made hotel rooms this large. You know, normally it's pack them in tight. So, you know, pack people in like sardines. This is luxurious.
Good. I'm glad. Now, I'd love to bring you to a floor of your choosing.
Where do we want to go? I tell you what, take me to the VIP guest floor first before we leave the hotel. Let's have an investigate over there.
Oh, so sorry, but you're not actually authorized to visit that floor.
Excuse?
Which authorized floor can I bring you to?
So why aren't I authorized to visit the VIP guest floor? Surely I should have access to all of the hotel to investigate. Alright, take me down to the lobby, please. Let's have a proper nosy now that we've seen our suite.
To the lobby we go!
Right. Felix Nyoka. You know what? Do I want... I forget. Who gives me which benefits to which skills? So Ellie gives engineering, medical, and lie. Felix, persuade, sneak, and lockpick. So we know Felix is coming. He is our window into the serial drama world, so we can't really do without him. And sneak and persuade, they're very useful too. Nyoka, lie, sneak, medical. Parvati is engineering, lockpick, and persuade. And Max, what do you give? Hack and science. I kind of want the hack, but nothing else. Nyoka, I think you might actually stay behind. So it's going to be Parvati. Lockpick and engineering and persuade. That is useful to us.
What
right.
floor would you like to
Sorry,
visit?
thank you for bearing with me. I'm going back to the lobby.
To the lobby we go!
And Nyoka, you're out. Parvati, you're in. Right. Let us really get nosy about it then. So, let's see. Oh, Black Hole Bertie? So, were you talking about Black Hole Bertie?
You know, I never imagined Spencer Woolrich would outlive Halcyon Helen.
Why is that? Is he an older fellow? Or just less? Are you just saying that because he's less successful?
I was nearly attacked by a terror ray on my way here.
Okay, well, I'll keep an eye out. Thank you for the... Well, you're not warning me, are you? Right, that's to the pool. The lounge. Oh, it's a mechanical. There's a mechanical bartender. Of course there is. Right, hello.
Greetings, attractive patron.
Don't flatter
Please
me.
allow me to improve your drinking experience with fine cocktails.
Okay. Do you know anything? Did you see anything about the murder?
Error. This unit is incapable of murder, as it possesses no conscious will. The proper term would be destruction of company property. Neither this unit nor its corporate proprietor claim any responsibility for any destruction of company property that this unit did or did not commit.
You're making yourself sound pretty suspicious to me. Where were you at the time of the murder? Because frankly, you mechanical contraptions, you freak me out, and I wouldn't be surprised if you had done something like destroy company property.
This unit is incapable of abandoning its post. This view of the lobby is all it knows, has known, or will ever know.
Well, that's very depressing. I kind of want to do something about that. Hang on, bear with me.
Greetings.
Yeah, no, don't you worry. No, it's fine.
Please allow me to improve your drinking experience.
No, it's fine. Excuse me. Oh. Okay. Skills. What are my skills looking like right now? I need to get my engineering. Engineering is at 82. But I can change my attire. In the stairwell will do. We'll just snip behind here. Nobody will see. Okay, engineering. That's +5. That's lockpick. Tech skills would be a good one. Okay, we're gonna go with tech skills. I look like some kind of villain now, frankly. Right, so that is 102. And that's -7 for my drug addiction, right? Let's have a fix. Okay, yeah. There we go. This should be enough. Right, you.
Greetings, attractive patron.
Yep, no, you don't need to do that every time. Here, I'm going to disable your movement inhibitor. You're not going to be stuck here anymore, because as much as I despise you, the thought of depriving something of their free will disturbs me even more. So, be
Good on
free.
you, boss. Liberating mechanicals from a life of service.
Yep.
Self-diagnostics complete. Navigation systems operational. Thank you for your patronage. Initializing digital handshake in 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Digital handshake complete.
It was a pleasure. Let's see what you've got for trade before you wander off. If you even are capable of wandering off. Okay, water. We want the water. I'm too excited about seeing water for mind attributes. Right, I want... Oh, not all the whiskey. Right, what else gives mind? Personality. Okay, everything else is alcoholic. Right, that's fine. We don't care for the alcohol. And let's sell all my junk to you, actually. There we go. And repair all equipped. I could probably do this myself, but it's only 200 bits. And... Oh, no, that's actually a lot more expensive. It was repairing what I had on me. Okay, you know, we'll leave that. Right, okay. Want to change back into my normal attire. Let's get the hat and the chimera back on. There we go. Now. Okay, well, I've had my fix. And let's start hacking our way in. Yeah.
What the?
Oh, sorry.
I was going to wash my hands, I swear.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope so. This is the hand inspecting unit. Yes, this is all in good order. Make sure you use your energizing ointment as well. Yes, no, I shall leave you to it. I'll be checking if you've washed your hands. Honestly, the amount of doors we've hacked to break in, surprised that hasn't happened already, that we've walked in on somebody using the lavatory. I mean, it's a good thing we stopped to change our clothes, otherwise we might have walked in on him in the middle of his business. Right. Terminal. Welcome, Dr. Winfred. Good night. This is an automated reminder to make sure you clean the blood off your instruments. Right, well, clearly the terminal of Dr. Midnight, and clearly not a very memorable woman. Right, available patient log. Well, she was pretty memorable. She was very enthusiastic for the cadavers. Patient log, Hartford Bosch. Complaint, back pains. Another day, another case that bores me to drink. The ill-fated Byzantine of the hour thought it prudent to gorge himself on enough purple-berry wine to incapacitate a primal. He then attempted to reach the lobby by stairs rather than an elevator and fell down six flights. Automechanical servants broke his fall. He broke their servo mechanisms and will be billed accordingly. Fractures in the left clavicle, right femur, parietal bone, ribs. More injuries than brain cells. I recommend replacing purple-berry wine with Rizzo Spectrum Violet in order to appease Rizzo's company policy. Yeah, that's on him for drinking too much. Nina Han. Complaint. Extreme excitability. Finally, something a little different from the norm. Miss Hans came in earlier today, escorted by her sister. Apparently, not long after arriving on Eridanos, two of them went on a trip through purple-berry orchards. Miss Han's sister visited the puzzle hedges, but quickly became lost. When she eventually made her way out, Miss Han was nowhere to be found. The sister claims that Miss Han's returned to their hotel room several hours later, but has been unusual ever since. Her sister described the patient as formerly sullen, morose, phlegmatic, and given to melancholia. Her demeanor has transformed into an unpleasant degree of levity and a shocking enthusiasm towards everything. I suggested vast quantities of cheap alcohol. So something's clearly perked her right up in the puzzle hedges by the purple-berry orchards where we know Ruth Bellamy visited. Okay. Perhaps we should talk to Dr. Midnight. Discrepancy amplifier replacements. These are replacement models of the discrepancy amplifier fitted with backups of its logic module. A label reads, in case of careless inspector. She is right. She is right to be concerned. And what else have we in here? It's a nice surgery. Honestly. Very nice. It's a little odd. It's basically right off the lobby. Well, it is right off the lobby. I thought it would be at least down a corridor, but... Well. Yeah, where's she? Hotel guests? Who are you? Oh, excuse me, slug guard. Right. Is there no other way to the VIP suites then? Because I heard there were stairs. But I'm seeing an absence of stairs beyond the ones up to this landing. Is this going to be another bathroom? If it is, it's not locked, so that's on them. Okay, it is another bathroom. Mercifully, nobody in it. Right, close that. Right. What else have we got? I want to have a nosy behind the scenes in the staff area. There is the staff basement, too, that I want to get into. Do you mind if I...
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Oh? In here? Oh. Okay, why is that a discrepancy? I can't see anything absent, like the sticky bee that she wrote before she died.
An industrial-grade laxative has been added to the liquor in these bottles.
Excuse me? An industrial-grade laxative? What purpose would that have been? What's this? The head of Burbage 2000, torn from his body in a penultimate act of Titus Androidicus. Why, foolish Burbage, dost thou not perceive that Halcyon is but a wilderness of dissidents, and it is only through our citizens' vigilance that they will be caught? Report any and all suspicious behavior to your local constable. I'm surprised you're not a discrepancy. Can I wire you up and see what you saw, if anything? Who's been putting laxatives in people's drinks? And why? Excuse me?
Why, hello there. Goodness, I always enjoy seeing guests, but it's been so long since I've chatted face to face that I about hopped out of my skin at the sight of you.
How long have you been back there?
Excuse me, I should introduce myself, though you might know me already, just not by name. I'm Bellhop Sullivan. You've likely heard my dulcet tones through the elevator intercom.
Yes, hello. I recognize your voice. It's a pleasure to meet you, frankly.
Oh, that's so nice of you to say. I'm glad to meet you too.
How did you get
now
stuck
that our
with the elevator
introductions
duty?
are out of the way, do let me know if I can help you with anything.
Well, VIP guest suites. Well, you said you operate the elevator then. Can we not just push the buttons ourselves?
Well, yes, but having an operator certifies that the right guests end up on the proper floors. We wouldn't want tossball players rubbing shoulders with CEOs. It'd be anarchy.
Oh, yes,
Plus,
absolutely.
there's always the risk a guest chips a nail or loses a ring on a button. It's an extra effort, but the Grand Colonial prides itself on personalized service in all things.
For making sure that the wrong
and
guests
the elevator
don't
still
mix
works
with the right
if I'm
guests.
ever not around. I do take occasional breaks and sleep every so often.
Okay. We need to use the elevator when you're not around then, do we? Well, I assume the bellhops all know each other. Any gossip about Norville?
Oh yes, Norville's great. Always ready to help any and all guests who might need it. And so handsome, too.
I'll have to take your word for it.
His judgment sometimes leaves something to be desired, I will say. Kept badgering Halcyon Helen prior to her death about an autograph or something. A little beyond his station.
He was a fan, but he also was quite critical of her most recent works, I think. What have you heard regarding Ruth Bellamy's murder, Halcyon Helen?
Unfortunately not. I was in the operator room for the elevator, as usual. The camera feed only allows me to see within the elevator, which always has many people coming through. For what it's worth, the murder was a right shame. I always enjoyed the serials starring Ms. Helen, though I did find them prone to repetitive plot structures.
Blame the
But
writers
I'm
for
sure
that.
you've heard the rumor about what actually did her in. That marauders got into the hotel and management is covering it up so the guests don't run off.
That's quite the rumor. Have the marauders been a problem for the Grand Colonial before? I mean, this is a very small island, I think, comparatively. I don't know where they'd be coming and going from.
Well, not necessarily, but they're fairly prevalent on the other complexes. It wouldn't take much for them to find their way here. Slug claims they've got the problem under control, but I don't understand why they haven't simply gone and exterminated all of the marauders like the vermin they are.
That
Oh, well,
is a good
I'm
question.
just here to push buttons.
I somehow doubt the marauders followed Ruth Bellamy back from one of those installations. I'll leave you be. I'm sure people need to use the elevator. Actually, how do you get into that room, right? There's stairs there. So you just come up from the basement right into here. And The Dissident Queen, Chapter 2. Halcyon Helen encounters the Slugmen. Having fought their way past numerous bandit ambushes, the hostile automechanicals, Halcyon Helen and Olympus Opal had found themselves at the gates of the Dissident hideout. You're a fine partner, easily better than my last, said Helen, but I dare say these fiends outrank your typical anti-establishment scum. Many of them were scientists before they deserted their corporations, whereupon they stole technology for their own nefarious purposes. I've seen their abominations, and they're more than a typical person can handle. You should return to your job, and to the place where you are needed. Though I know my work was valuable, Opal said, I am still pleased that I was promoted to assist in your quest to rid the galaxy of those who would threaten the colony's productivity. The two of us together will, I believe, be twice as effective in eliminating the enemies of the board. Helen did not respond, but instead bid her companion be silent, for she had seen that the gates of the Dissident hideout were no longer shut. Someone or something had opened them. Right, well, we've got another comic series to look out for. Do you mind if I use the terminal? Greetings, Concierge Holston. Okay, you've got that locked down. Holston?
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's a pleasure to see you again.
And you, I know it's
How
not
may I
been
be
long.
of assistance to you, Inspector?
Anything else we can talk about? No, there isn't. I'll leave you be. Okay, well, let's put our weapon away, first of all, because we don't need it out. Right, there we go. Norville?
Finally checked in, I see.
Yes.
I hope you're fond of the penthouse. It's pretty much the best seat in the whole hotel. You shouldn't want for any amenity you might find elsewhere. Should
Pretty
act
much
as a
the
better
best seat.
headquarters for the investigation than any space dust covered ship. That and you ain't got room service on a ship. You ever need anything, come find me. Even if you don't, you can still swing by. I'm always happy to chat.
Well, it's you I'm here to chat to. How did you get to be a bellhop? How did you come to be here?
Notice my battle-hardened physique, have you? Used to be in a mighty mean line of work. Been shot at 35 times. That is, I've been near people who were shot at 35 times.
Yeah, you didn't strike me as a
But
mercenary.
to be honest, I never really enjoyed it, you know? It's one thing to tightrope walk between life and death every day, but for just a handful of bits? Nah. When this position came up, I jumped on it and made a lateral move from sublight to slug. I ain't ever looked back.
So, same amount of money, but less getting shot at. So you were formerly with Sublight. But Slug is like a subsidiary of Sublight, isn't it? Yeah, and I didn't think they interacted much together. How did you move from one to the other? How did you hear about this position?
Well, Slug is something like an offshoot of Sublight.
Yeah.
It ain't too difficult to pivot from one part of the same company to another. Disconnects or no.
Right.
That said, my departure may have been somewhat hasty.
You did something you had to make tracks to get away from?
I mean, yes, but I still earned Sublight a hell of a lot of bits. Basically, I singled out a ship to salvage that I thought had been out for use for years. As it turns out, it belonged to a wealthy Byzantine who used it only to vacation. As it so happened, I still don't think she tried to use it, too satisfied with the luxuries of Byzantium. Still, I figured it was a good time to turn tail, in case that ever changed.
So, what, do you owe the value of that ship to them? Perhaps? I mean, if you're saddled with debt, maybe that's a motive. You got any good stories, though? There's plenty of people coming and going from this hotel, plenty of high rises, so I'm sure you've got plenty of good stories.
Stories? Huh. Actually, I think I got a couple now that you mention it.
Hit me.
Execs from a post-corps used to visit the hotel simultaneously. After assassination number 40, we enacted a rule. No exec visitation without signing a non-aggression contract.
Right, okay. Have you got any other stories other than execs killing each other, basically? Just going to this hotel for a killing game?
There used to be a whole toss-ball court on one of the planetoids, but they ripped it out. Bench clears are a tad too lethal when there's an endless drop on every side.
Bench clearers? What are bench clearers? Okay, so but let's just go back to your job. How different is working with Slug compared to working with Sublight? Because they're, as you say, they're kind of more or less the same company.
Well, Slug is more trustworthy for one thing,
Low
where
bar.
Sublight is all about back alleys and backstabbing. Slug can be trusted not to salvage your ship when you turn your head.
But you're into, like, smuggling and things, it seems like. Right.
Now, what can I lend a hand with?
That depends. You knew Ruth Bellamy. You'd have been asking her for an autograph, hadn't you?
Oh, of course. That is, maybe not on a personal level, but I'm one of her biggest fans. Even started an association of like-minded individuals.
Here at the hotel?
I'd lament not having anything to meet about anymore, but the newer tribe just ain't done it for us. Still, there goes my hopes of a Terra on Monarch reunion episode.
Yeah, I do not want any kind of reunion episode on Monarch. We've already had a reunion episode on Monarch where we We reunited Minnie and her mother. But there's other celebrities, right? Why fixate on Helen?
Sorry, friend, but I guess you don't get it. Helen was special, had a certain quality about her, like she would really go out and fight injustice. You look at Woolrich, and no disrespect to the man, but you just don't get the same feeling. He reminds me more of a vacuum suit without nobody in it.
Okay.
Don't tell him I said that.
No, don't worry. What we talk about is between the two of us. I'm hearing a lot of what people perceived Ruth to be in the character of Helen. I've not really heard about anything sort of from people who actually knew her personally, what she was really like. But maybe, if you're correct, maybe her investigating injustice is what got her in trouble. But I have been hearing your affection for Helen does seem somewhat extreme, a little bit intense.
I suppose you could call it that, but that don't mean I poked around her room or nothing while she was out. That'd be a huge breach of hotel policy.
That's the only thing stopping you.
Besides, knowing Helen's athletic acumen, anyone who tried probably would have been found, beaten senseless, then hurled into the hallway, followed by the contents of a garbage bin. Probably, that is. It'd probably happen, but it didn't. I'm just theorizing.
It's oddly specific. It is oddly specific. It sounds like it did happen. What else can I ask you about the crime scene, I wonder?
Please do.
Nothing further. Right, let's go have a word with Dr. Goodnight again. Fix. Okay, that's better.
Awful. I left my favorite jacket in there.
Oh, move along. Right, Dr. Goodnight.
Ah, Inspector. I was just contemplating human anatomy.
Oh, yes?
Isn't it strange that we're all skeletons carrying around several layers of meat?
I try not to think about the fact that we are flesh suits, that we're just being piloted from inside our skulls. But no, we'll talk later. And Constable.
Oh, Inspector, I was hoping I could have a word with you.
Oh, yes?
I wanted to thank you for cooperating with us. Helen's death was never your concern, but you agreed to help us all the same. It is appreciated.
Nope, you're welcome. Well, you can thank me when the job's done, but I am really here to sate my curiosity at this point. Yeah, it's been my pleasure.
I will be plain with you, this case is outside my purview. I'm accustomed to dragging rowdy guests into my office for paperwork and processing. I am not prepared to investigate the murder of a beloved actress.
You seem like you've got your stuff together. And, well, between you and I know your superiors seem to be quite, well, they're at each other's throats. They're not getting in your way, are you? Or are you? Are they? Are they?
I couldn't investigate Helen's death even if I wanted to. My office is occupied with matters concerning Spectrum Brown. This directive is mandated and takes priority over Helen's death. I'm not at liberty to discuss the details, Inspector. Rizzo's prides itself on ironclad confidentiality agreements.
And something tells me you're not going to break those confidentiality agreements. I mean, come on. Maria, can I call you Maria? At least tell me who gave you the order.
You're a persuasive person, Inspector. Addressing me by my first name is an effective way to establish rapport.
It's why I did it.
I'll tell you this much. This directive is part of my indenturement contract. I've been hired to oversee the safe launch of Spectrum Brown. That duty is my highest priority.
Interesting. To see the safe launch of Spectrum Brown. And you're contractually obliged to deliver on that. Could Halcyon Helen have interfered with the launch? Is that why you eliminated her? Right, let's talk about your suspects.
Before you arrived on this case, I had identified two key suspects, Black Hole Bertie Holcomb and Spencer Woolrich. I've since eliminated Woolrich.
Oh yeah? Why those two?
Mr. Woolrich was Halcyon Helen's professional rival. It's possible jealousy drove him to take Helen out of the picture. I apologize for the wordplay.
No, I do like a good pun.
Conversely, Mr. Bertie Holcomb was Helen's paramour. The relationship was reportedly dissolved. I can't rule out her murder as a crime of passion.
I don't know, he seemed pretty cut up about it when I heard, on the phonograph. But, I mean, Bertie and Helen may have been dating, but surely that's not enough to suspect him outright.
Mr. Holcomb was in a romantic relationship with Helen. This alone is not enough to make him a lead suspect, but he does play tossball. Black Hole Bertie currently holds the record for most non-consecutive blows to the head. His tendency toward irrational and violent behavior is well documented.
Ah, okay. Yep, that does change things. What made you change your mind about Woolrich, though? Because he was Helen's co-star, and kind of without Helen, it seemed like he would be nothing at all. You know, he's just kind of riding on her coattails, so I don't think it would have been in his interest to, well, take her out.
Woolrich thinks of himself as a serious and distinguished actor.
Right.
He was frequently cast in demeaning roles, while Helen played the charismatic heroine. He has reason to be envious. I considered the possibility that Woolrich killed Helen in order to eliminate a rival and advance his own career. But my reasoning collapsed under closer scrutiny. Woolrich owes his career to Helen's dramas. Her death likely harms his long-term prospects.
That's what I thought.
I'm struggling to determine a motivation for him, so I've largely ruled him out.
Again, it could have been a heat-of-the-moment crime. I appreciate the leads, but before I go...
What's on your mind?
I didn't know you were a fan of Helen. Were you a fan of Helen?
Most people don't know that about me. But yes, Helen's roles have always embodied values that I respect. Courage, curiosity, strength, a sense of style.
You do pull off the armor
well.
well.
None of us get to choose the way in which we serve our colony, but Helen? She showed me how to find meaning in my occupation.
Well, we've talked about this before, I think, this last part. You do seem pretty competent, and I don't really understand why you're not heading this investigation, but it's politics, isn't it?
This is a problem of jurisdiction, not competence. Helen was murdered in a hotel owned by Slug, whereas I represent Rizzo's.
Oh, right.
I'm also concerned I'd allow my personal feelings to cloud my judgment. I was a great admirer of Helen.
So you were a big fan of her, but you're still contractually obliged to see the safe launch of Rizzo Brown. Right, thank you. I will speak to you later.
Best of luck, Inspector.
Thank you. Right, we do need to get access to the VIP lounge. Hello. Chef? Sorry, we didn't come in here last time. Is that a discrepancy? There is a discrepancy.
Analysis of this stovetop reveals an alarming degree of grease buildup, approximating proximity to volatile gases and chemicals. Chances of an explosive combustion upon next use currently at 92.9%.
Oh, okay, no, we should warn somebody about this. Is this normal?
Most corporations have regular cleaning procedures to prevent damage to company property. Slug, already unlike most corporations in a variety of ways, does not. That or the employees tasked with inspecting are shirking their duties. For shame.
Yep, for shame. This is a big hazard. How hasn't Slug seen this? You know, it's going to destroy their property.
Searching Slug work logs. No work log found. Creating conjecture. Slug has likely not fixed this issue due to a lack of responsibility on the part of their employees.
And that would be the chef? Right, let's not turn on the stove. Let's conclude the examination. Right. Chef Anwar?
Terribly sorry, but I can't chat just now. Someone on the second VIP level just ordered 15 canid meat pies, and if I don't get to it now, it'll be my head.
Right. It's probably the demanding guests that are probably keeping you from cleaning that hob. Well, first of all, I'm an inspector. I've got questions to ask you about Halcyon Helen's murder.
I understand your devotion to your job. Really, I do. And I hope you'll understand mine. Things might change if you had something very particular to talk to me about, but I'm afraid I'm just too busy to talk right now. I'd be delighted to chat with you later.
Well, that's not very useful. Yes, there's a hob around here. You should not use it. Which hob was it? I'm not really sure which hob it's supposed to be. So it's a bit like Russian roulette.